after being awake for a couple of days, like I remember looking out my window and seeing silhouettes of like people standing by the tree and like behind the car and like stuff. And you think people are watching you and shit. Like paranoia has got to be one of the worst fucking things that can happen.
Yeah, there's a comedian, Shane Moss, and he wanted to do a documentary, I think, and I'm paraphrasing. An amazing comedian, great guy. Go see him if you get a chance. And he was on here once, and he was talking about, he was trying to make a documentary about doing, I want to say it was mushrooms, right? But he got so like deep into it, he started getting paranoid. And he started thinking the documentary crew that he had hired to shoot the documentary of him were like ops. Like they were like government, like he started to go down a real rabbit hole, Billy.
No, that's...
Yeah. And then he started to give clues to the camera so that when whoever watched it would know that he knew. Like he was getting deep, bro.
I think there's a level to it because psychedelics is another thing that I've dabbled in, and I think, I think psychedelics is a very positive thing.
Yeah.
I am an advocate for psychedelics. Mm-hmm. I'm not an advocate for meth, crack, Oxycontin, cocaine, any of those things. Little mushrooms, I think it's, take a hit of acid and if you're brave, like a hit of DMT or something. Mm-hmm. But it's not for everybody. I don't think psychedelics are for everyone, but I think it can help a lot of people. I think a lot of people would benefit from eating a mushroom stem and going and sitting down by the riverbank, pitching a tent, making a fire and hanging out with some friends and looking up at the trees and, staring at a bug and realizing, why, it's like I've hung out with like whenever you're around like the Grateful Dead camp,
Mm-hmm.
Bob Weir and Bill Kreutzmann and some of those cats, like for instance, when I was out in Hawaii hanging out with Bill Kreutzmann and those guys, a lot of like the people that are just around, the friend group, they're all like, and I noticed this while I was there, because these people are doctors and, intellects and they're all adults who are still children, but they're not immature. And it's like, you see this 45-year-old woman who has many degrees sitting there staring at an ant and being like, wow, almost like a child. And I think it's just a great thing to not lose that. Maybe some people get it without drugs. I know my banjo player, Billy Failing, he might take a hit of weed like every once in a while, but he's pretty, doesn't do anything. And I'm like talking to him about that, like, man, when I take some mushrooms or whatever, I just feel like, I feel like psychedelics can make me feel like one with nature and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, man, well, I get the same thing when I go on a 3-day-long hike and sleep on the ground, because him and his wife go on these outdoor, long hikes and stuff for like weeks at a time, and they sleep on the ground, and they, Grand Canyon or where, out these national parks and shit.
Yeah, and being lost, but it's like organized.
Go and shit in a hole for a week. You get one with nature pretty quick.
Oh yeah,
without drugs.
Yeah,
but taking some shrooms or acid or something can really get you there a lot quicker. It's like,
well, shrooms are a connector, I think, and even fungus itself is like a expansatory type of thing. It's like it's that thing that fills in the space. Like so. It's like a caulk almost in a way. So I definitely. I think that mushrooms are great. I've always thought that. Yeah, you can get a little crazy, and then your buddy's somebody's doing the Heimlich maneuver on him at a damn Waffle House or something, and the guy's hitting on your friend or something, and he's a kid or whatever. But the biggest problem, I think, is you just run the risk of people not being able to do it in in some sort of control or moderation.
I was just gonna say the moderation.
That's the key.
with everything.
But we're getting more to the point now. You're seeing, like, I have people that hit me up that say, hey, man, you should work with this therapist. They do like mushroom guided therapy, right? Like, and you see a lot more like ketamine guided therapy, right? And ayahuasca adventures. Like, you're seeing things where I think people are getting away from the idea of like, I just want to poison myself, like with alcohol, which is a fun poison. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not condemning anybody that drinks. Like, I would be drinking if I didn't go buy cocaine and end up trying to, you know, bite
if
some
I was a
stranger's
responsible
butthole in the
adult, I
distance
would
or
drink
whatever.
too, but I'm not.
Right. I'm
You
just
know,
kidding. Yeah.
You want to hear a DMT story or two?
Yeah. I'll trade you one, and then we'll get back into your music. Is that
Wait,
okay? Oh, we don't have to get back in anything, but I don't want people to forget that you're a musician. That's the only thing.
Psychonaut, Billy Strings.
Psychonaut. That's what Shane Moss was, a psychonaut.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go down a DMT story, man.
Well, because I feel like, you know, since I'm talking about all the other bad bullshit that I've done, I need to kind of clear my name here and tell you about some of the better stuff that has happened to me because of my experiments.
Amen. Yeah, it's important.
Like when I was living in Traverse City, there's this man, my buddy Seth, he's gone now too. This sucks because he, you know, them fucking opiates, man, got his ass. But he was my buddy who always had whatever. He was like into the like EDM scene and shit.
Yeah.
And he would like just have a backpack, which, man,
yeah.
I got whatever, bro. So he would come over and whatever. One time he had this DMT. He's like, let me get a little bit, you know? So, you know, you know, let me get a little bit. I'll buy some off you, right? So he hooks me up with a little bag. And that bag sat on top of my dresser for fucking, I don't even know, 6 months.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing about psychedelics that I'll say is like, it's not something to play around with.
Yeah.
If you're not in the headspace for it, don't do it. You know, it's like, it's kind of, and I've learned that lesson from psychedelics. It's almost like dipping your toe in the pool or something. And it's like, don't do that. Just, you know, if you want to go swimming or not, do you or don't you?
Right.
Do you want to stay dry or do you want to get wet?
Right.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, and if you're wearing something that can't get wet, then fucking don't. Yeah, then just chill.
Yeah.
Like if your attitude is an attitude that can't get wet right now,
Yeah.
then just stay on the bank. Homie.
Yeah. Exactly. But so I was, you know, it took me 6 months to gain up the courage to hit this DMT. And one day I came home from work and there was nobody home. My roommates were gone. I knew they weren't going to be back because they were downstate. And I had the house to myself. The sun was shining.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good today. It's like, I'm happy. The sun's out. Fuck it. Nobody's home. Like, I'm just going to rip this DMT. Let's try it.
Amen.
So I was also ignorant at the time about what it even really was.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what to expect. So I wasn't really scared of it. Now I haven't done it in years, even though it's been so enlightening and helpful. I haven't done it in years because of how intense it is. But at this time I was like 21 or something, just like, man, I'm just gonna rip this DMT.
Yeah.
And so I sat on the couch and like took a big hit of this, and I was listening to this. It was actually the "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
"I'll Fly Away" with Killian Welch and Emmylou and Alison Krauss and Mike Compton and, you know, all these instruments and stuff. And I hit this and all of a sudden I'm kind of floating and the instruments are surrounding me and it's all this beautiful kind of shit happening. And I start to see this blue light and I'm like, whoa, what's that? It's like this blue light way up ahead in the distance and it's getting closer and closer to me. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, it's a chick. And I'm like, I can see this lady and she's swirling and dancing and she starts murmuring this ancient language that is brand new. Something that this language has only been used right now for this particular occasion, but it's ancient and I understood every word somehow. She's telling me this information as she's spinning and twirling and dancing for me. And she's wearing this skirt and every time she twirls, her skirt kind of twirls like that. And it's made of like eyeballs. And then she does a 360 and it's made of ears and then teeth and then hair, noses and pupils and just all these different facial features. Her skirt was like made up of like thousands of them. As every time she turned, it would change. And she's getting closer and closer to me. And then she got close enough to me, and she kind of like caressed me in a way, like put her arms around me and was like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "I'm good." And then we went, like shot me out of the atmosphere, out of, outer space, like through this placenta where we kind of broke through. And then it was like we were on this beautiful pink mountaintop overlooking this vast everything.
Damn.
And she was kind of standing me on top of the mountain, pointing and looking and showing me everything. These are all the universes. Notice how they're spinning and working together like a gear, like a watch, like a clock, like a movement.
Damn.
And then she zapped us down.
Super Zillow or something.
It was like all the universes spinning, and then she took me down to our universe and showed me all the galaxies doing that same thing. And then she took me to our galaxy, showed me all of the planets doing it, then to our planet and showed me the wind and water and currents, and then to a grain of sand. It was like a fractal out from everything, and everything is spinning and working together.
Doing the dance.
Yeah, doing the dance. Yeah. What you do affects your neighbor, and basically she told me it was like, you need to be strong in yourself. You need to work on yourself, work on your mental health, work on, she didn't say all this shit, but
you caught it from
that's what I got, is like, you need to work on yourself. We're all we're all links in a chain. We're all together. Me and you are the same, bud. And we need to be the strongest links that we can be for everything. For not just humanity, but all of everything, And what that is, to be a strong link, you got to work on yourself and basically just not be a dick, and dive down inside of yourself and figure out what it is. Why are you an asshole?
Yeah.
Or how can you change to be better? How could you be a kinder, better person to your neighbor, to Mother Nature?
To yourself?
To yourself, especially. That's how you do it.
Right.
That's how you find the strength. Yeah.